Coming to you from the work desk, it's day 7 and it's time for a quick strike. Hello and welcome back to the Dohyo here on Mr. JWags channel. Today, of course, is a quick strike, a small, tapa-sized amuse-bouche of an episode that we release mid-Basho to keep us hungry for more sumo. But beware, because spoilers abound, so if you have not watched through day 7 of the July 2025 tournament, stop, watch through day 7, and then return to us. So clearly, the July Basho has not gone as predicted, but it has been fascinating, and there's a lot to talk about. First of all, it seems we have a lot more Kyujo this tournament than we've had in a bit. We lost Daisho, Endo, and Nabatame before the tournament, and then since the tournament has begun, we lost Hideno Umi, who should be returning on day 8, Mitodyu, and of course, Yokozuna Hoshodyu. Now, the online chatter has, exploded about Hoshodyu. It's like, is he really hurt? I'm pretty sure he's actually hurt, and it's not just he's wrestling poorly. We knew he had a toe injury coming into the tournament. I see no reason to doubt him when he says that the toe injury has come back, and if any of you has ever had a bad toe, it's not an easy thing to just sort of tough your way through, especially when your job is pushing things barefoot. So I'm going to go ahead and take this Kyujo at face value and just hope that Hoshodyu can rest up fully and that he will be fully ready to go in September. And possibly related to all of the Kyujo, we've been having a whole lot of Henka this tournament. Have we noticed? Kaio Fujinokawa today versus Mitakeyumi. Chiyo Shoma has had a few unsuccessful ones, and Abi has had at least 2. And of course, this comes along the heels of Chris Sumo reporting today that Chiyo Shoma has been having back trouble. Abi had elbow surgery in the offseason. So I'm imagining a lot of these Henkas have something to do with a lot of the sort of the fighting wounded, trying to stay in there and get as many wins as possible. But yeah, it's not making for some of the most exciting matches. But I will go on record as saying I don't think the technique that we've seen Kirishima use a couple times this tournament, sort of the hit and shift, I don't believe that is a true Henka. The difference to me, as it was explained to me, is that if the first step of the match is forward, it's a hit and shift. If the first step of the match is to the side, you can consider it a Henka. And I'd say let's be on the lookout for a upcoming Kyujo from Maegashira 6, Takeru Fuji. It looks like he hurt that bicep pretty bad during his match with Sadano Umi on day 6. So I don't think a torn bicep is something that you can sort of bounce back from. And while I haven't heard anything official, it just looked really bad, and he looked very bad in the ring today versus Ichi Yamamoto. So I would be surprised if Takeru Fuji were still in here by the time I do my next quick strike. But with all that out of the way, let's get to the leaderboard, and it is a doozy. We have 14 wrestlers within 1 win of the lead. And the leaderboard is very crowded at 6 and 1, but we start with our newest Yokozuna, Ono Sato, Sekiwake Kirishima, Maegashira 4 Tamawashi, Maegashira 8 Ichi Yamamoto, Maegashira 14 and Makuuchi debutant Kusano, and former champion and Ozeki Maegashira 16 Mitakeyumi. So I don't really have any notes for Ono Sato. He's been doing very, very well with the exception of his 1 loss to Oho, and that seems to be the only match where he hasn't seemed to dominate immediately at the Tachiai and sort of just be able to drive his opponent out. His 6 wins have been very, very dominant. It seems right now the only weakness Ono Sato has is if he doesn't fully dominate at the Tachiai, he gets him moving backwards. And it seems a little hard for him to sort of shift that momentum back forward. And goodness knows we don't want him to get back into sort of the pull happy habits he was having a few Basho ago. But I'm not really that worried about Ono Sato. I think he's going to get through here with a better than anticipated record. I'd say he currently is the favorite to win. And of the 3 Sekiwake we had coming into the tournament, and all were on Ozeki run, Kirishima, I was expecting to extend the Ozeki run, but I wasn't expecting him to do this well. His only loss has come against Aonishiki, who's having an amazing tournament on his own. And while I do think Kirishima's doing a great job so far, I don't necessarily think he's going to be getting the 13-win Yusho, Jun Yusho thing that it would take for him to get Ozeki consideration at this point. But I do think he's going to get at least 10 wins, and that will extend the Ozeki run into the next tournament. I'm very glad that Kirishima is looking more consistent than he has in a while. And then Maegashira 4, Tamawashi. What? Okay, the Graybeard is doing great in week 1, and we have seen this with him where he'd have a great week 1, and then he'll get a little tired and sort of fall off in week 2. He's only faced one member of the Sanyaku yet, although he did beat Wakataka Kage. I think we're going to know a lot more over the next few days when he finally starts facing a few more Sanyaku members to see if this is actually going to be like a shot at his third Yusho. Maegashira 8, Ichi Yamamoto. This is... I'm very happy for Ichi Yamamoto, but I don't think he's going to, like, burst out and this is going to be a Yusho type thing for Ichi Yamamoto. I think Ichi Yamamoto will end with around 10 wins, but I do think once he starts getting promoted aggressively, we're going to start seeing the seams in the sumo. I mean, he has looked great so far, but his toughest opponent, according to ranking, has been Takeru Fuji, and of course, I think he's hurt right now. So I do not expect Ichi Yamamoto to be pulling off a lot of week 2 upsets. Maegashira 14 Kusano is one of the few predictions I seem to have gotten right. 6-1. Great start. He is cleaning up at the bottom of the Maegashira ranks, but that's exactly who he's been beating. None of his opponents have been even in the Maegashira single digits yet. So I'm still expecting 10 plus wins. I am not expecting this to carry over into week 2 should he face any Joy Sanyaku opponents. I think there is a ceiling for Kusano before we see any Yusho talk. And then Maegashira 16, Mitakeyumi. This is good for the soul. I'm glad he's returned to Makuuchi and he seems to be doing very well at the bottom of the Makuuchi Banzuke. I don't think this is a full comeback, but for the moment, I'll just take a strong Kachikoshi and see how far that takes him. He won his first 6 matches, lost today to Fujinokawa. I expect, again, if he gets promoted aggressively, he won't be able to keep this up, but who knows? I mean, he's got the experience and he's got the pedigree. If the body's ready to hold together, we have seen Yusho come from the very bottom of the Banzuke. And we have a whole bunch of wrestlers just one step down at 5 and 2. Starting with our Soul Ozeki, Koto Zakada, Komusubi Takayasu, Maegashira 1, Aonishiki, Maegashira 6, Gonoyama, Maegashira 9, Uda, Maegashira 10, Atami Fuji, Maegashira 14, Fujinokawa, and Maegashira 15, Kota Shoho. Now, when it comes to sort of like the non-Joy Maegashira on this list, like all of these are wrestlers I do enjoy watching, and I hope they do well, but frankly, my vibe on all of them is very similar to what I've been saying with the other Maegashira who've been up at 6 and 1. I think they're doing great right now, and it seems like they have sort of managed to like beat up on each other and rotate a few of the losses around, so the next wrestlers they're going to face are not going to be in their immediate Banzuke vicinity, but I don't see any of these guys like busting out in the second week once they face like the best of the best. Now, the 3 wrestlers I'm very interested in the 5 and 2 group are the 3 up in the Sanyaku and the Joy. Now, Aonishiki at Maegashira 1. Ooh, all right. I was expecting him to get Kachikoshi his first time up in the Joy, which is not an easy thing to do. But right now, he has, as of today, finished facing the entire Sanyaku, and he finished 5 and 2. Think about that for a second. Every opponent from here on out should be getting easier. So 8 to 9 wins seems shockingly low at this point. I'm expecting at least 10 wins, possibly another Kanto show, Gino show, maybe multiple Sancho prizes at this point. And yeah, if the opposition keeps getting easier, he could stay in the Yusho race all the way to the end. Now, Takayasu, I am genuinely surprised by. He got a 6 and 9 at Komusubi last tournament. He's already got like almost 6 wins here, and we're only at day 7. He's already beaten Aonishiki and Koto Zakada and Wakataka Kage, so he's been getting quality opponents. Takayasu, if he's feeling well, can beat these wrestlers. So, well, again, I don't want to jinx anything, but this could be one of those things where we see Takayasu contending into the final weekend. Maybe this time? And I was wrong about Koto Zakada. Yeah, I was expecting him to go Kataban, and this still could happen because he hasn't really faced any of the top rankers yet. All of his wins have come against Maegashira. He is 0-1 against his only Sanyaku opponent. But still, if he goes Kataban, that means he wins fewer than 3 matches out of his last 8. And while he isn't looking at his best, he's not looking as bad as I thought he was going to look with the neck injury and the knee injury and sort of the accumulation of ouchies he has been having. So no, I don't think Kodazakura is going to be contending all the way through the final weekend, but I do now expect him to clear Kataban. And there are a few wrestlers I'm a little worried about their first week, starting with Sekiwake Wakataka Kage. I was thinking he was looking for double-digit wins and a possible Ozeki promotion after this. He has gone 3 and 4 against a largely non-Sanyaku group of opponents. So 3-4 at day 7. He still hasn't even faced at anyone above the rank of Komusubi yet, and them's the hard ones. So yeah, at this point, I'm just really hoping he gets to 8. But even that might not be a gimme at this point. Maegashira 3, Ono Katsu, and Maegashira 4, Hakuoho. We mentioned this in the predictions episode. We didn't know which way these guys were going to go. And it looks like, yeah, they are a little outclassed up here in the Joy for the moment. Now, don't get me wrong, I still think both these guys have room to grow. It's just this tournament, it seems like they've definitely hit a ceiling, and they are going to need to up their game if they are going to survive up at the Joy Sanyaku level. Another thing I'm worried about is that we have 5 winless records on day 7, and only 3 of them went Kyujo. So Chiyoshoma and Kaio, 0-7. Yee. I'm sure eventually they will face each other, and one of them will at least get one of those wins, but both of them have looked very, very bad in this tournament, both of them having multiple unsuccessful Henka. And I'm also a little worried about Makushita 1 Asanoyama. He was my Makushita Yusho pick. He started 2-2. I was expecting minimum 5 wins, and he would have to win out the rest of his matches to do this. So hopefully it's not an injury thing coming back, and it's just whatever it might be, sumo luck. But I'm hopeful, but I'm a little worried about Asanoyama at this point. All right, this has proven to be a fascinating July Basho, and we've only gotten through the first 7 days. Stick around to the channel. We're going to have another quick strike in a few days, and of course, the wrap-up coming up after the Basho. So everyone, thank you for joining us on this quick strike.